Hey everyone, it's Laura and Alvin with Add-A-Pup Dog and Puppy Training. I am doing, I don't want to snow it to you yet. Let me turn it around. Doing business stuff today. These are Christmas cards. I don't want to show you the design yet because I haven't mailed them out, obviously. And it's a surprise. It's very cute though. If you have taken class or met with us this year, you're going to be getting one. So I'll post it on the Facebook page maybe once I already send them out. My tip this week, Training Tip Tuesday. I wanted to talk about cues, not commands. Commands are the old word, not really something we do anymore. Cues are more accurate, and it also, it more accurately reflects what we're doing here. So cues. Cues are the word or the situation or the, hand signal or whatever it is you're doing that mean, dog, perform this behavior. Something's going to happen. So it's sort of like a stage cue for an actor. When they hear, "Wherefore art thou, Romeo?" Romeo comes out on stage, does his thing, clap, 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 beautiful, and then he's done. So when a dog hears, "Sit," they know, oh, I put my butt on the ground, mama likes it, I get paid, other stuff happens, etc. So it's a cue. There are a couple rules to keep in mind. I don't like that word, but there's a couple of things to keep in mind when you're choosing cues to teach your dog. We're going to be talking about verbal cues mostly, but there, like I said, there's all sorts of cues. There's also cues that you don't really intentionally teach, like if you have a cat, maybe the sound of the can opener, kitty cat comes running, or the sound of the treat jar, all the dogs come running, or you picking up your purse, or for Nina, it's always putting on my shoes. She's like, "Are we going for a walk? Are we going for a walk?" And then as soon as she hears her collar jingle, she's like, "Yeah, we're going for a walk," and she gets all excited. So those are all cues that something else is going to happen. But we're talking about verbal cues here. So these are things like sit, down, come, spin, shake, etc. Some things you want to keep in mind. English or Spanish or French or Dutch or Swahili, these are not dogs' first languages. Dogs' first languages are body language, so learning a physical cue, this or body language is always going to be easier for the dog to learn, always. And any body language that you have going on is always going to overpower anything that's coming out of your mouth. It's just something to know. It doesn't matter. If you don't care that you have to go like this for the rest of your dog's life to ask them to sit, then it's not a big deal. But if you want them to actually do it on just a word, which is useful in itself, then I'll make another video about that. But we want it to be clear. We want it to be distinctive from other speech, which makes it a discriminative stimulus. They have to be able to discriminate that cue from other stuff. So a couple examples. If you taught your dog down, which is, get in a sphinx position, elbows on the ground, and then you wanted to teach them to do a play bow, so butt up in the air, elbows on the ground. If you called down, down, and called the play bow, bow, down and bow might get a little confusing. If you wanted to teach your dog who's named Zit, for whatever weird reason, if you wanted to teach Zit to sit, that might be a little confusing too. I had a client, and I hope she doesn't feel like I'm calling her out. I just think this is interesting. She had a dog named Kaya, who's a beautiful, wonderful girl, and she adopted a dog named Maya, who is also a beautiful, wonderful girl. But Kaya and Maya obviously really sound alike. That's going to get confusing. She ended up changing her name. So you want to make sure that your discriminative stimulus is something that can actually discriminate from other stimuli. It has to be clear. We want it to be consistent. And by that, I mean, here's a little handy rule. We could have multiple cues for one behavior. We could teach a single dog that the word down means lay down, or the word plots means lay down, and the word table means lay down, or plant it means lay down, or bleep blurp 742 means lay down. All of those different cues can all mean get in a sphinx position. But we cannot teach a dog that down, the word down, means to get in a sphinx position, or turn around in a circle, or get out of the truck, or get off of Great Aunt Margaret, all these other things that look different, that aren't the same behavior. I'll get to that in a second. We can't have one cue mean several different things. A green light has to mean you go. A green light can't mean sometimes you go, sometimes you make a U-turn, sometimes you stop, sometimes you do a backflip. One cue, no, one behavior. You can have multiple cues for one behavior, but you cannot have multiple behaviors for one cue. So when we're picking a cue, what do we want the dog to actually do? There has to be some sort of requirement for that learner, that dog or that cockroach or that chicken, to earn reinforcement. If we want to teach the dog to sit, then we have to set some sort of criteria. Your butt has to be on the ground in order to get paid. Your butt can be on the ground or on the chair or on the crate or on a tree or on a fire hydrant or something. You have to be in this position to get paid. If we don't set criteria, and we don't know what the dog actually has to do in order to get paid, then it's not a discriminative stimuli because we're not discriminating what is actually the behavior. So usually this comes up if we want the dog to, if someone's like, how do I teach my dog to stop barking? Can't teach them to stop, but what do you want them to actually do? I just want them to shut up. Fair enough, but let's make that a whole behavior. When I teach a dog to stop barking, my finished behavior is the dog's going bark, 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 the window, and I say, that's enough, or quiet down, or heck up, whatever you want. The dog abandons the window or the door or wherever they're going crazy. They come towards you and they sit. That is the criteria to get paid, and that is what the stage cue, that's enough, means. The actor, the dog, has to abandon the window, come to the person who shouted that word, and sit. And that's how they get paid. So we have to set criteria. If you don't even know what you want your dog to do, your dog's not going to know what you want them to do. So you have to figure out what you actually want them to do and then teach them how to do it when they hear that sound. So an interesting aside, and this is really common, so I got a little video of Nina to show you what I mean with this. If you want to teach a dog down, or plots, or Zeep Zorp 742, doesn't matter. If we want them to be in a sphinx position, so their butt and their elbows are on the ground, maybe their head, that is down. If a dog is jumping up on someone, or they're on the couch and you want them to get back onto the floor, that is off. Do you see why? One is going from any position, a stand or a down or, something, into sphinx position. The other is put your paws on the floor, all four on the floor. It's different for a dog. If your dog's jumping up on Green Aunt Margaret and you go down, 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 if you actually want them to get in a sphinx position, then they need to get in a sphinx position to get paid. If they actually just put their paws on the ground and they're standing and they get paid by being pet, then you're, washing out the foundation for your down cue because you're just spouting it and they're getting paid for something completely different. And you can't have two behaviors for one cue, so now down is pretty much meaningless. And they're practicing jumping up. So keep that in mind. I have a video of Nina showing the difference between down and off on a little bench, just to illustrate my point. It's a really common one. Down and off, whatever you call them. If you call it lay and on the floor or something, it doesn't matter. But they're two distinct things. So keep in mind how it feels for your dog when they're performing that behavior. Because what seems like the same thing to us is not actually the same thing to them. Getting your paws on the floor is not the same as laying down in a sphinx position. Another interesting thing, I forget where I read this. I think it was a Ken Ramirez article, maybe. So in class, we teach dogs puppy push-ups. Sit, down, sit, down. So they understand that sit means go into this position no matter where you are otherwise, whether you're standing or laying down, put yourself in this position. Down means put yourself in this position, whether you're standing or, sitting or anything else, that's down. If a dog isn't taught that way, then if you tell them to sit and they're sitting, and then you tell them to sit again, they might just go down lower. Because in the dog's mind, the word sit just means bring your body closer to the floor, which is kind of interesting to think about. And that's sort of along the down and off lines. Sam's hungry. Our Santa Paws pictures are all filled up. All of our slots are filled. I'm sorry. We'll have to add some more time next year, but we've only got a few volunteers from the rescue this year, so there's going to be a small population of elves and me and Heather. And we're doing our best. So I do have a waiting list. If you want me to put you on it, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to put you on there. Our 2018 schedule is up. I'll be handing out physical schedules around town in a bit. Our Christmas cards are coming out. And there's my cat's butt. Okay, I'll add Nina's video on the end. Take care, everyone. Oh, cats. Down. Off. Yeah, good girl. Hop up. Sit. Down. Yes, good girl. Off. Yes, good girl. Go find it.